Hello, happy quarantine. So this week of school is review, so this is stuff you should know. This should all be familiar, but to work out the kinks with the online system and all that stuff, we're gonna do stuff you already know. So hopefully you remember meiosis, okay? So meiosis, this is the process for making gametes. What are gametes again? Sex cells, think eggs and sperm. So the whole process of meiosis is all about splitting our DNA in half. So we can't pass down all of our DNA to our kids, otherwise they get all of my DNA, all my husband's DNA, and then we'd end up with some mutant kid. No. Egg cells, sperm cells, they need half of your DNA so that you only pass down half your DNA to your kids. So let's look at how this process happens.
All right, so let's say we have Anna and Kristoff here from Frozen and Frozen 2. Thank you, Anna and Kristoff, for being here. Now, if you haven't seen Frozen 2, I'm about to spoil the ending. Kristoff does propose to Anna. So cool. So they are getting married, obviously, and let's say one day, 10 years from now, they end up with 10 kids. So you can see all 10 of their beautiful children. Again, this is like 10 years from now. You can see some of them have brown hair, some of them have blonde hair, some even have like purple, blue, and pink hair. Well, I don't know how that happened, but whatever. So meiosis, what kind of genetic traits did Anna and Kristoff pass down that they ended up with so many kids with so many different hair colors and different traits and all that stuff? So meiosis is all about that. Okay, how did their DNA get passed down so that they had such a wide variety of children? So let's look at the technical process of meiosis first. So I have my makeshift whiteboard right here, as you can see, so feel free to pause this video whenever you need to look at it more in depth. So hopefully you remember in meiosis, we start up here with prophase 1. So prophase 1, we have the cell, what's happening, chromosomes form homologous pairs. Now, I only have 4 chromosomes total pictured here, but remember for humans, we have 46 chromosomes or 23 pairs. All right, so from prophase 1, we go down to metaphase 1. What's happening here? The homologous pairs line up in the middle of the cell, crossing over takes place. We'll talk about that in a minute. Then we go down here, anaphase 1, those homologous chromosomes split apart, voila, okay. Down to telophase 1. Telophase 1 is where the cell actually divides. Down to prophase 2, it's just the cell is preparing to divide. Metaphase 2, chromosomes line up in the middle. Anaphase 2, the individual chromosome splits apart, so you have chromatids that move this way and that way. Finally, telophase 2, the cell starts to divide, and you end up with 4 gamete cells. And each of those gamete cells has only 2 chromosomes, whereas up here we started with 4. So we successfully cut the DNA in half. Now, all right, so first we're going to look at Anna and Kristoff, who have so graciously donated their chromosomes for us to study. Now, Anna, we're going to pretend she has brown hair. I know she has red, but pretend it's brown. Her chromosomes look like a brown hair gene and a blonde hair gene. So maybe she got a brown hair gene from mom, blonde hair gene from dad. But this is her genotype, big B, little b. Now for Kristoff, he has blonde hair, so he is little b, little b. He's homozygous recessive. Okay, that's covered in another video. Anyway, so Anna, big B, little b, Kristoff, little b, little b. I'm going to have them go through the process of meiosis, and we'll see what that looks like. All right, so here again, we have Anna with her brown hair and blonde hair gene, Kristoff with his 2 blonde hair genes. Now, in order to make this process of meiosis the most efficient, the body is going to replicate the DNA first. And remember, DNA replication is just copying DNA. So this gets copied. Now she has 2 copies of that brown hair gene. This gets copied. Now she's got 2 copies of that blonde hair gene. Kristoff as well. This one's going to get copied. So he's got 2 copies of that one, and he's got 2 copies of this one. All right, so now let's do Anna first. She's going to undergo meiosis. Okay. And so what happens, let's say she got her brown hair gene from her mom, her blonde hair gene from her dad.
These are called homologous pairs, and they're chromosomes that code for the same trait, in this case, hair color. So the hair color genes find each other and they pair up. This is prophase 1, homologous pairs pair up. All right, metaphase 1. The homologous pairs go into the middle. There you go, metaphase 1. Anaphase 1. Actually, let me stop here. During metaphase 1, a really cool thing happens. It's called crossing over. And so let's say a section of this DNA is going to trade with the section of that DNA. And so notice now, these two strands used to look exactly the same. These two strands used to look exactly the same. Now they're a little bit different. Okay, and that creates 4 very unique DNA strands. So every single DNA strand now is completely different. All right, so on to anaphase 1. The homologous pairs split apart. Telophase 1, they're going to actually split into 2 different cells now, okay? And the process starts over. All right, so prophase 2, the cell prepares to divide. Metaphase 2, they go into the middle of the cell. Anaphase 2, they move apart. And then telophase 2, they're going to split into 2 different cells, and that's going to happen on this side and on this side. All right, so now Anna now has 4 gamete cells, and each one has a different strand of DNA. And so these, since Anna is a female, these are her 4 egg cells. Okay, so these have divided, they've made her egg cells. Now notice, when she goes to have children, in this case, she's going to pass down a blonde hair gene. In this case, she'll pass down a blonde hair gene. But remember, these two are not exactly the same anymore. We have some different colors down here, so maybe some different shading, whatnot. Okay, this one, she's going to pass down that brown hair gene she got from her mom. And then, of course, this one, she's going to pass down a brown hair gene. All right, now let's do Christoph. So, Christoph, we have a blonde hair gene from his mom, a blonde hair gene from his dad. Remember, they both code for hair color, so these are homologous chromosomes. They're going to find each other and pair up during prophase 1. Metaphase 1, they'll get in the middle. Crossing over will happen. So let's say this one is going to trade with this one. Okay. So now at this point, we have 4 completely different strands of DNA. All right, anaphase 1, they move apart. Telophase 1, they move into 2 different cells. Prophase 1, prophase 2 prepares to divide. Metaphase 2, they line up in the middle. Anaphase 2, they split apart. Telophase 2, they move into different cells. And voila, here are 4 gamete cells for Christoph. Now for Christoph, that means he just made 4 different sperm cells. And so each one has a blonde hair gene. There's no other choice. That's what Christoph has to pass down. But every strand is a little different because of that crossing over. We now have some genetic variety there. So for those of you that need a little bit more real world example, we're going to go over here. So just one more time, make sure you got it. Prophase 1. Homologous pairs, that's chromosome from your mom, your dad, they pair up. They code for the same trait, hair color, eye color, whatever it is. So in this case, I've numbered them. You have 10 chromosomes total. Remember, for humans, it's 46, but I didn't have that many. So 10 chromosomes total, but they're paired together based on their size and their shape, and they code for the same trait. All right, metaphase 1, they line up in the middle. There we go. Homologous pairs line up in the middle. Crossing over occurs. They'll exchange some DNA. Anaphase 1. The homologous chromosomes split apart. Now they're on opposite sides of the cell. They have to be on opposite sides of the cell because, boom, they're going to make 2 cells. Here's telophase 1. All right, from here, I want you to see I numbered them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chromosomes here, 5 chromosomes over here. I've successfully split my DNA in half. Again, I have to do that if I'm going to have kids. They need half from their mom, half from their dad. All right, telophase 1 and prophase 2 look very much the same.
Okay, they're just hanging out. They're preparing to divide. All right, after prophase 2, metaphase 2, they line up in the middle. Anaphase 2, they get pulled apart. They're now split in half. Okay, and then finally telophase 2, here you have your 4 daughter cells. Okay, to recap. Kristoff, Anna, when they went to have these beautiful 10 kids, okay, let's see, all of those brown-haired children, they got a brown-haired gene from Anna and a blonde-haired gene from Kristoff. Remember, Kristoff he doesn't have any choice. He has to pass down a blonde-haired gene. All your blonde-haired children, they got a blonde-haired gene from mom and a blonde-haired gene from dad. Now, your pink, blue, purple-haired children, they either dyed their hair, which is pretty cool. I guess Anna's a really cool mom. Or there was some sort of mutation there that ended up with a different hair color. So thank you, Anna. Thank you, Kristoff, for participating. Stay tuned for your next one.